Hi, Vicky Hamilton here with Aesthetic V-Blog, and I am with author Catherine James. So Catherine wrote a beautiful book called Dandelion, and I really loved it. I think you would love it too. It's very rock and roll. Well, let's talk a little about Dandelion.
Well, it's not so much a book about rock stars. It's actually a whole memoir about my whole interesting life growing up in Hollywood and moving to London in the swinging 60s. And, I got to be involved in the revolution, basically. And so I had to put that bit in my book because what was I doing for, 4 years? But it was an interesting time. It's not a time that was the best time in my life or anything that I'm still thinking about, but it was definitely part of my life.
Well, one piece of the book that I really loved was the story about your dad.
Oh, right. Well, that was what inspired me to write the book, because I have had a very interesting life, but this just brought it all together, because my dad, who was never in my life, showed up all of a sudden and wanted to be close. And when I met him, he showed up as a woman. So that was the opening of my book. I thought, I need to write this and then as it went on, I realized that just everything in my life was extraordinary.
So let's talk about your creative process. It's like, how do you start writing?
Well, I had never written anything, but I really, really wanted to write this book because I just thought it would be an inspiration to some people. So what I did is I bought a book. I think it was called Writing Down the Bare Bones. I don't remember the author, but it's such an amazing book, and it really opened my eyes to so many things. Then I went to the adult college and took an English class because I had really only gone to school for about 4 years of my life because of my family. Growing up, I lived in a lot of orphanages. I was never any place longer than 3 months. I think altogether I had 4 years of school. So I needed to understand how to write English, which I pick up on things pretty quick. So I took this wonderful class with this inspirational teacher, and he just used to say, write what's in your heart. I thought, oh, well, I can do that. And then I would write, a few paragraphs every day, and then it started to get bigger and bigger, but I was always having trouble how to get on to my next subject, my next story, my next chapter. So it was very hard for me to make the turn, making it smooth. So I think that was probably the hardest part. Well, I did two things. I figured out how I would speak to somebody. So when I'd get really stuck, I'd just pretend like I was telling somebody a story.
So what's your next book going to be about?
I have something that's almost finished, and I have another one that I think will be interesting to women and possibly men, called The Big Red Flag.
Ooh.
And I think women know what the big red flag is, but we don't like to see it.
So how do we get that book?
Oh, it's on Amazon. You can get it on Kindle, or it's still a hard copy, and it's pretty easy to find.
How do we find you on the web?
Well, I have a website called the official Catherine James website, and there's a place where I have a guest book where you can write.
So, advice for aspiring writers?
The other part that's really difficult about writing a book is actually sitting down to the table and writing the book, because you think it's always rolling around in your head like rocks, all these things you're going to write about. You need to figure out your beginning, your middle, and your end, and what you want to write about. And then sit down and do it. Even if you don't know what you're going to write about, just start writing.
Vicky Hamilton and Catherine James for Aesthetic V-Blog. Go out and buy Dandelion for Christmas present. It's a zinger. You'll enjoy it.
It's fun.
It is a fun ride. All right, we'll see you next time.